Well, Maria, this week we look at the state of marijuana, what needs to change to ensure businesses stay competitive, the use of marijuana in the state, and we follow the tax money to see where it's all being spent.
Doing a little pruning to train the plants is a good thing.
These are some of the most cared for marijuana plants in Anchorage.
The more times the plants get touched by people, I think the better they perform.
Babied and clipped, conditions are perfect here. And these plants will produce marijuana products that will be sold at top dollar.
Right now, we're on our week 3 strip, so I'm removing all the fan leaves to allow for better light penetration to hopefully have better bud development.
At this grown, owned by Enlightened Alaska, the plants go from well-cared-for sprouts to fully blooming buds.
We harvest about 60 to 75 pounds every 3 weeks.
In this 15,000 square foot space, marijuana is grown and manufactured and will eventually be sold at Enlightened Alaska and other shops in the state. That means 2 different marijuana licenses. It's called vertical integration, and it may be the key to being a successful marijuana business in Alaska.
And it's come a long way since from when we brought plants in the beginning and what we've grown up to.
From here, the marijuana goes to the retail store.
You have a great day, man. We're a vertically integrated business, and that's really unique in this industry. So we grow our own product, we extract it into oils, we manufacture other products with them, so like cookies, capsules, tinctures, and we sell them all here.
Enlightened is one of the original shops to open after legalization in 2015.
And then in this case, we have all of our flower that we grew.
And it's a crowded industry.
I do think that there's more shops than are needed.
Alaska has almost 200 retail marijuana shops per capita. That's more than any other West Coast state in the country. On 5th Avenue alone, multiple retail businesses are right next to each other, and there are no limits on the number of marijuana licenses that can be issued.
The saturation is definitely on everybody's mind. There's a lot of product out there. There's a lot of retailers. The price is coming down. That has people a little bit nervous at the wholesale level. There's a lot of talk about taxes.
3% of taxes collected in the state are from marijuana, more than $30 million in fiscal year 2021. Industry experts say the way taxes are collected needs to change. Right now, it's taken at the cultivation level for $50 an ounce or $800 a pound.
It's vibrant, it's thriving, there's challenges, there's things that we need to prepare for, and there's some foundational issues that I think we've got to fix now.
Marijuana is still illegal under federal law, but if that changes, Wilcox says, it could wipe out the state's local shops because a residency requirement would go away.
So if we don't do something and the residency restriction goes away, we have an unlimited licensing system. What is to stop these huge Canadian IPO companies from coming in, setting up shop right next to your local marijuana pot shop, and undercutting them for 10 years, operating at a loss because they can and driving you out of business? There is no reason why they wouldn't do that.
I want it to not happen super fast. I want us to get really established so we can actually be like kind of the craft company in town compared to like a Costco grower, coming in and taking over and buying big warehouses.
For now, the warehouses remain locally owned, but the state of marijuana could change. And tomorrow we look at how to talk to children and teens about marijuana. It's a pretty complex issue because it is legal here, but not good for developing brains. So, Beth, this was brought to our attention when a local attorney gave us these hemp edibles. She says this is 3 times what you can legally buy in a cannabis shop. Here's your warning. Throughout Anchorage, on store shelves, usually behind the counter.
I've been in this business of representing marijuana companies since 2013. I didn't see this coming.
Gummies sold as hemp that can get you as high as a legal cannabis edible.
I have a problem when kids get hurt and our legal industry gets hurt.
Gummies like these are technically considered hemp and are being sold to anyone.
First, let me state, there's a question about whether they can legally sell these products. And one thing that we are exploring with the Department of Law.
That's because of a loophole in the Federal Farm Bill of 2018 that was meant to help the hemp industry. Back then, industrial hemp was removed from the Controlled Substance Act. Hemp is usually associated with non-psychoactive ingredients. But some manufacturers, in the extraction process, infuse the edibles with Delta-9, resulting in a high despite being a hemp product.
In this case, some very savvy entrepreneurs figured out they could take advantage of the technical definition of industrial hemp, extract it to such an extent that it becomes intoxicating, even more intoxicating than licensed marijuana products here in Alaska, put it in an edible, call it hemp, and ship it around the country.
If the word Delta or THC is written on the package, it's an indication someone can get high.
Delta 9 from hemp is the same Delta 9 that gets you high from marijuana.
That's a problem for parents, the legal market, and the state, which earns about $1.8 million a month on legal cannabis taxes. And this product can be sold anywhere to anyone, no matter the age, and not just at a pot shop. Then there is also the issue that this can be stronger than what's sold legally.
This product I bought from a local retailer here that's not a marijuana establishment, and it has in this container 300 milligrams of THC, Delta 9, which is again the same Delta 9 for marijuana, from hemp. And now that's 300 times the legal limit that you can buy in a licensed regulated marijuana shop.
I'm not a cannabis consumer. If I consumed this bag, I wouldn't be able to make it home.
There could be a fix.
So we will find a solution to this.
The Alcohol and Marijuana Control Office Director, Joan Wilson, says the feds could change the definition of industrial hemp in the Farm Act. Locally, the state could allow Wilson's department to regulate hemp and issue cease and desist letters to shops selling this type of product. Or the amount of THC in hemp edibles could be limited.
We have to start looking at hemp and marijuana as intoxicating cannabinoids and non-intoxicating cannabinoids.
Which comes down to this: what's safe and legal? And those legal issues remain very hazy. Well, Mike, when the rules for cannabis shops were being crafted after legalization in Alaska, Eagle River lawmakers took a strict approach while zoning laws were being crafted, making it almost impossible to have a retail shop. That cannabis shop, one business, it is trying.
It smells like skunk.
Tucked below the Chugach Mountains, in a place famous for its small-town vibes, comfortable family homes, and the raging water of Eagle River, the news started to spread.
Community council that's most upset about it, of course, is Eagle River.
A cannabis shop.
Alice's, they call it.
It could be moving here at the 12,000 block of Horseshoe Drive.
This is a little more conservative part of town, and there was not a lot of joy about pot shops, and so they specifically recommended stricter zoning.
Those stricter zoning laws mean you'll see lots of churches, shops, homes, and restaurants, but you won't see cannabis stores. There are none.
It would be virtually impossible in downtown Eagle River. There is a slim possibility if you went far enough out to Peters Creek. There's a rural commercial zone out there, but still the standards are pretty strict.
It's a slim possibility, but still a chance. Janet Welton, who represents the shop, says exceptions can be made, and what's different now is that a growing number of people want pot shops.
We've been discovering through this community engagement, there's a lot of people that don't want to drive all the way to Anchorage to get legal, tested, safe cannabis products. There's a lot of people that would really like to have access in their own community, a lot more than we anticipated.
When Title 21, the zoning laws, were written in 2015, lawmakers from Eagle River had stricter requirements put in place that make it almost impossible to have a cannabis shop. The problem with this proposed property, it's too close to at least 3 key buildings.
As you can see, there's homes just right there. There's a school for disabled kids. Behavior Matters is just 2 doors down. And there's a church that periodically meets up there too. So the distances don't match and the zoning district doesn't match. They continue to try though.
If they succeed, the shop will be just down the street from these homes.
I think they should keep that stuff in Anchorage.
People are people. It's really no different than people who drink alcohol.
There's no limit to the number of cannabis shops in Anchorage, and it's Anchorage lawmakers who could make exceptions for a store in Eagle River. If Alice's opens, that does not mean other pot shops could as well.
even just adding the B3 doesn't open it up. It doesn't make it so every other application, if they were to apply, still has to go through some sort of variance, because there is no location in Eagle River where you can get a marijuana establishment without running into the issue of being 1,000 feet too close to either a residence, a church, a daycare, some sort of protected use.
A majority of the assembly members say they still want more information before making a decision. But at least one says approving a legal store would improve public safety.
You know, all the reports that I hear from folks on the ground out in Eagle River is that that's the last bastion of the black market in the municipality. That since legalization in 2015, we have effectively choked off the illegal marketplace in the municipality, except in one place, Eagle River.
But it appears that can change.